Was Cody Rhodes lied to about WrestleMania 40 plans? We also take a look at the backstage reaction to the chants of Rocky sucks. And The Rock is said to be 100% wrestling Roman Reigns. It's all in the wrestling news. Hello everyone, Jack and Fraser here with just a news video pretty much all about the ongoing booking situation in WWE.
Yeah, there's a lot to talk about Cody Rhodes, right?
Yes, there is. We're going to talk about various different things, the response from different people to various things that have happened in terms of this ongoing storyline, I guess. Is it storyline?
That's the thing. What is it? Is it storyline? Is it a work? Is it a shoot brother? We're not quite... No, like it seems like there's a bit of mixed on both sides, or maybe it's a bit of both.
Yeah,
I don't know.
We'll take a look at what a lot of the major news sources are saying, starting with Fightful Select, who have looked into how much, if anything, other parties outside of The Rock and his close circle knew that he would insert himself into the WrestleMania 40 plans. They say, to be clear, if this is or was a work, there are numerous parties that had not been included on such as of last Friday. How things have evolved since then are much less clear.
Yeah, and I think that's the case of it is like, The Rock just seemingly out of nowhere on Friday just turned up and was like, he didn't even say anything. He said nothing. And then he's now in the main event of WrestleMania 40, or appears to be in the main event of WrestleMania 40. Now, they did continue saying, like, while we can't speak on the grander situation of who planned what specifically, they can speak to Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins, CM Punk, the creative team, the producers, and those around them were not told that an elaborated, multifaceted work was the plan for WrestleMania 40 or the Cody Rhodes Rock angle at SmackDown.
Yeah.
As of the last week, they said Cody Rhodes versus Seth Rollins was the direction told to creative prior to the Royal Rumble. CM Punk versus Seth Rollins was the active plan and was relayed to CM Punk himself. So they said, so if there was a work at play, it didn't involve those parties ahead of the Royal Rumble, so it could have been a work to them as well.
So basically what Fightful Select here are saying is that it seems unlikely that this whole thing is a work that everybody's managed to keep under wraps, and this was always the plan known to everybody going forward. They're saying that all these people they've talked to, people close to Cody, Seth, Punk, the creative team and everything, all indications seem to be that things were proceeding as normal, and this seems to have caught a lot of people off guard.
The Rock wasn't even factored into plans according to, or what us people other than The Rock assumed in a way. It seems that way.
But then as of last week, Cody versus Seth was the direction told to creative, and that does seem to have shocked a lot of people. And if everybody has managed to keep this under wraps from all these news sources and from Fightful Select and everything, that would seem very unlikely that they've managed to mask that shock or keep that hidden when clearly they're going to be asked about it.
I guess it is a testament to how high this was planned, like, and how high up the company this was planned. We know that The Rock came into the company as TK board of the directors, and now he's in this big matchup.
Yeah, a bit more from Fightful Select on this as well. They say, as far as the word of the plan for The Rock and Roman Reigns was the plan dating back to January 3rd, which I believe is what Meltzer's been saying.
Yes, it is.
Fightful have said that they've heard from WWE sources that there were meetings on January 1st and others along the way that had indicated to Cody Rhodes that the creative direction had not changed and that he was still slated to face Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. Up until the week prior to the Rumble, no other parties that Fightful had heard from or had spoken to since were made aware. To the best of Fightful's knowledge, a select group of people were informed Royal Rumble weekend that the direction had changed. So as you say there, it seems to have been these plans, and if Meltzer's telling the truth, and if Meltzer's sources are accurate, and that this was in the works since about January 3rd, first week of January, this has been kept secret from a lot of people.
Right, and it seems like when The Rock came back on day one and had that bit with Jinder Mahal, where he overshadowed Jinder Mahal, of course, his big triumphant WWE champion return, he said that he wanted to sit at the head of the table. It seems like The Rock knew at that point, oh, hey, look, this is what I'm setting up. And people, that led to a lot of speculation, but it does look like around that week, that's when things started to go into motion. It just is horrible for Cody, the fact that he went into the Royal Rumble not being told of this plan, or it appears that he wasn't told of this plan, but certain people in the company were, because they've had merch ready for SmackDown.
Yeah.
And that takes a while.
It's a strange one because, as well, The Rock would presumably have known then, or the seeds would have been sown when he made that return on SmackDown. But at the same time, I remember at the time thinking, this is bad news for Cody Rhodes. And then he won the Rumble. So why did they keep...
Not only did he win the Rumble, but on the instead of pointing at the WrestleMania sign and that being it, he then in turn and pointed at Roman Reigns and was like, Roman, I'm coming for you. It's always you, Roman. It's baffling that they would have him win the Rumble knowing that this was the plan all along.
Yeah, all I can think, and there seems to be two schools of thought here online. Yep. One group of people, and this is the one that I think is possibly more likely, are saying that it seems as though WWE's upper echelon, The Rock, Ari Emanuel, all those kind of guys.
It's a weird sentence that The Rock is in the upper echelon.
It seems like they are very interested in kind of plowing through everything.
Yeah.
Whereas maybe there's been some pushback from those a bit lower down, i.e. Triple H. You've gone, well, fair enough, you can do what you want, but I'm just going to keep booking things the way I was going to book them.
I'm going to finish it. He's wanting to finish his story, you know?
Or at least trying to sneakily get in The Rock's way a little bit, maybe, or just... I don't know, because he would have known what this... Triple H and Cody would have had a good idea of what this fan reaction might have been, as we'll talk about in a second.
Right, but it does feel like there's been a little bit of a... There's two competing forces right now being like, well, here's my story, but here's my story.
That's the one that I personally subscribe to, but I could be totally wrong. But the other school of thought floating around out there is that this was kind of a plan deliberately engineered by WWE to make Cody the next Daniel Bryan. Now, as Fightful Select have said, how the situation's unfolded since this initial response remains to be seen. Mm-hmm. But they could have pivoted to that now. I don't think The Rock will. We'll talk about more of that later on in this news video.
I mean, you mentioned Daniel Bryan, but like back then, obviously that was the big fan movement, the groundswell of support for Daniel Bryan. And then WWE is like, it was our plan all along.
Yeah.
How much of that is true and how much of it will be true here, we don't know.
Yes. Speaking of Cody Rhodes, his reaction to the news that The Rock was going to be all but confirmed to be replacing him as Roman Reigns' opponent. His reaction was a very interesting one, according again to Fightful Select.
Yeah, they said those that we spoke to claimed that Cody Rhodes expressed to WWE that he thought the reaction wouldn't be the desired one, but still did the segment on SmackDown, and was said to even be in a somber mood after. They said the segment went down and featured The Rock and Cody Rhodes shaking hands. We haven't been able to, this is Fightful saying this, we haven't been able to find out what The Rock said to Cody Rhodes verbatim, but have learned it was something in reference to their fathers. Now, they also said that they've heard that The Rock and Cody maintained a great relationship for years prior to this. It's interesting that Cody did express his thoughts about it. I'm glad that he did.
Yeah.
But it really sucks that they didn't really take that into account there. And he's going, look, it's not going to get the desired reaction that you want. Cody, I would say, has been the most over guy in WWE for 2 years now.
Yeah.
And it's not surprising that the fans are turning and supporting Cody over The Rock coming back.
One tweet that I saw was from Brian Gewirtz, The Rock's kind of writer guy, basically the guy, and he's also been a WWE writer in the past. He's very much part of The Rock's camp, it seems. And he tweeted fan footage of The Rock's entrance on this SmackDown where he was about to replace Cody and said, like, you have no idea. And some people said that to mean you have no idea. The story's continuing to unfold. Mm-hmm. I thought he just meant you have no idea what you're talking about. Look at this live reaction for The Rock.
I took it as that way as well.
Now, that's very silly of him if that's the case, because, of course, The Rock was going to show up unannounced. He was going to get a huge reaction. What I would say to Brian Gewirtz now is, What now since Monday? What now since Raw?
Yeah.
Because that wasn't a good reception. No, The Rock wasn't there in person, but, you know, it was kind of...
It wasn't the one they wanted, and it's not the one that The Rock is used to.
No.
It is going to be strange if the next time we see Rock in person, if he gets booed.
Yeah.
We've not seen that since 2003.
I reckon they'll be hastily coming up with ideas to try and soften the blow.
Rocky Roads. That's a team name for them.
Rocky Rhodes is unbelievable. Yes, very good. Speaking of Cody, we'll stick on him for a second because Fightful have added another twist to the tale as well. They say they've been told that WWE had started production on a follow-up to the American Nightmare documentary months ago. And there's been cameras following Cody for it. There was even content filmed for it on Friday as well. Imagine if they caught something.
Right? Like, part of the fact that they're filming a documentary. Now, we don't know whether they have planned this story with a documentary knowing that The Rock is going to be involved, but it's going to be an incredible documentary to watch.
I imagine, wouldn't they have planned it thinking this was going to be finally Cody's retribution?
Yeah, because they didn't do it last year. They did one last year, the American Night, becoming the American Nightmare.
Yeah.
And it felt like the whole thing was building up to him winning, and then, well, he lost. So then if they do the second one...
If this happens again, it could make for an even better documentary accidentally.
It's like Sunderland Till I Die.
I knew you were going to...
It's just like it, which is a great documentary about your favourite team.
It was a disastrous season or two that the club was...
Are they more popular now, Jack?
Sunderland.
Because of it? Because of the documentary?
No more or less, I would say. I don't know. I haven't seen the figures.
Well, maybe Cody Rhodes will be more popular.
Maybe. Also, Fightful have talked about the backstage reaction to the Rocky sucks chants on Raw, as I alluded to, saying that sources backstage at Raw said they expected a passionate reaction for Rhodes, but weren't necessarily expecting the Rocky sucks chants. WrestleVotes on Twitter has agreed with this as well, saying, I'm told that the Rocky sucks chants that took place last night on Raw totally threw certain people off, while this viral reaction story was leaned into last night with the We Want Cody signs and referencing it on commentary and Rollins referencing it. That part of it, the Rocky sucks chants, was something unexpected.
It's not something we've heard in a very, very long time, the chant of Rocky sucks. And I don't think The Rock would ever expect to have that aimed at him, especially now.
It was very interesting to see how the show unfolded from there. Rollins mentioned it on the mic. You couldn't ignore it. Michael Cole mentioned it on commentary, saying, "Is it 1996?" I don't want to suggest that Triple H planted that line in his headset when he realized what was going on, but I wouldn't blame Triple H for doing so.
Hey, you've got to use what you've got. If that is the chants that they were very audible, you could hear them on TV. Why not play into it? WWE has been better at playing into things like that.
People have said that since Triple H took over as head of creative, WWE has indeed been better at leaning into things like that. But you know this better than I do as a fan of like superhero
stuff. That's me.
Right. The Rock's ego. What people said after Black Adam and everything and the way that went down. Apparently, he also tried to. It's not superhero, but in a way,
the hierarchy
tried to grapple
power.
control of the Fast franchise as well.
A little bit.
Kind of superheroes with petrol.
The hierarchy of the WWE has changed with The Rock. He's literally done what he wanted to do with Black Adam, but to WWE.
Right.
And that did turn Hollywood a little bit against him. You know, he's not got a film coming out, or he's not in production of a film at the moment. So maybe that's a signal, but. You know, we'll see how things go with his first appearance in Rocky Sucks chant.
The next big news update regarding this story is probably going to take place tomorrow night. That's when we have the WrestleMania Kickoff press conference in Las Vegas. And BW Insider has a reason why it's going to take place in Las Vegas as well on Thursday at the T-Mobile Arena.
Yes, they said while the Allegiant Stadium has been tossed around as a potential Mania location since it was constructed, which is in Las Vegas. There were some in the company have heard that Minneapolis was in the mix for next year's WrestleMania, but they're told Vegas was picked for the kickoff event because the NFL that is currently taking place in Vegas.
Yeah, the Super Bowl's coming up this weekend.
You hyped for it, Jack?
Yeah, it's the Chiefs and the 49ers.
Yeah, it's the big weekend for Taylor Swift with the 49ers in the Super Bowl.
Absolutely. No, the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. The Chiefs. Her boyfriend's in the Chiefs.
Okay, right. Okay, she's not playing.
The Swifties will come after you, though. Oh, she's playing the 49ers in the Super Bowl.
For the 49ers,
No, she's playing for the Chiefs. Travis Kelce's the Chiefs.
Is he? Oh.
Are you thinking of George Kittle?
I'm thinking of George Kittle.
The people's tight end.
People's tight end.
But yes, it is Super Bowl week in oh my God, I can't believe I've been such a stickler for the NFL. It is Super Bowl week in Vegas. The feeling is that apparently having The Rock involved will grab attention locally from the media assembled. And that's certainly probably true.
Yeah. I mean, he's also got a football league. So, you know, it's gonna attract people that are into the American football. And if you've got all the media there, you may as well go to them and be like, hey, we're doing this thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And maybe they'll announce WrestleMania 41 or a future for WrestleMania in that location. Who knows?
Maybe they'll announce that at the press conference, yes. Yeah. And one final thing just before we leave you as well. PW Insider do believe that The Rock is 100% performing in the ring at WrestleMania 40. They say that is a done deal, and as noted on Saturday, likely something that was contractually locked in as one of the milestones Rock will be involved in as part of his TKO Board of Directors deal. PW Insiders say they were told there is no scenario where The Rock is not wrestling Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 40 unless something unforeseen happens like an injury. But this reaction would count as something unforeseen in my mind.
This is a moral injury for The Rock.
You can brush that off.
Yeah.
He'll be fine.
I mean, do we want to see The Rock versus Roman Reigns? Yes. Do we want to see it this year? No. Will it happen? Probably.
If they just had Cody finish his story last year. Although this could make him the next generational star if he isn't already, to be fair.
What, do it next year?
Cody Rhodes. No, but I don't know how they do this.
How'd you do it?
There's ways to do it, but only if, by the sounds of everything we've talked about today, there are ways for them to do this and make the best of it if The Rock is willing to put his ego aside.
Why don't you have Rock versus Seth Rollins, Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns? There you go. You've got two massive main events.
Yes. Why not do that instead?
Yeah.
We'll be back with more news later on about other things in the world of wrestling as well, not just this story as it develops as well. Thank you very much for watching. Leave your thoughts and opinions in the comments section down below. I've been Jack. This has been Fraser, and we'll see you very soon.